Hey, I'm Ditech, and this is part two of a two-part series about modifying this case behind me. I actually, in part one, sculpted the face and drilled a big hole in the case, and basically got up until the beginning of this video. If you want to start on part one, it will be linked in the description, and also in the description I'll leave a list of all of the tools and materials that I used to create this case mod. So somewhere between part 1 and part 2 of this mod log, I actually got a CNC machine, which you can see in the video right now. Now, it took me a little while to figure out how to learn it. I had to learn how to use Fusion 360, and I've never really had any experience with CAM or CAD software in the past, so it was all new to me. But I'm doing very simple CAD drawings right now just because I just have to cut out like 1/8 inch thick acrylic. That's the material that I'm using. So it didn't take me super long to figure out how to cut these panels out efficiently, and so I was able to continue on with the mod because obviously if I have this machine, I'm going to use it for my case mod. And what's really nice about this thing is that it not only is faster to use the machine and draw everything out on the computer and use the machine to cut it out for me, I can do way more intricate cuts with this thing than I would be able to do by hand, and it's also much more perfect than if I were to do it by hand. Like with the machine, the lines are all perfectly straight and everything, so that's pretty awesome. So I'm not sure if you caught this earlier, but I actually use VHB tape to hold the piece of acrylic down onto the bed of the CNC machine just to keep it still while it cuts. But if you are doing something more detailed like the kind of cuts that I do later on in this particular video, then you have to use more tape, which is why I got some carpet tape to hold it down so that every little piece of acrylic that's being actually cut is held down specifically so that if you do small details or anything, then they won't like go flying off into your eyes or whatever. Just something kind of interesting that I learned over the course of doing this mod, just that the carpet tape is better for this particular application. And this, by the way, is that VHB tape that I was talking about, the stuff that I'm using right now. It's just super small and kind of expensive if you're going to be using a ton of it all the time, but it is really, really strong, so it's good stuff to have. And in order to hold this blue fella onto the panel that he's going to be living on, I used epoxy, which is plenty strong enough to hold him in place forever. In fact, he could be way heavier than he actually even is, and it'd still be strong enough, so that's some good stuff there. I do actually use more epoxy off camera than I did on camera. He's on there pretty good. Let's get it. So my goal for this Game of Thrones panel here was to make it glow and have it be RGB and super awesome. So to achieve that, I just had 3 layers of acrylic, the bottom layer being just to kind of give the wires that I'm going to be using on the RGB strips some space to live. And the second panel, which is kind of the middle one, sandwiched between the Game of Thrones panel and the back panel that's just the support, would be the one that's actually going to light up. So it has 2 channels in it, just big enough for LED strips, and those are going to shine through the middle of the panel, which I'm going to leave clear just so that the thing can shine through it effectively. And then the top panel, which is the Game of Thrones panel, which is what we're trying to backlight in the first place. So I had to do some fancy painting and then hold these 3 panels together with VHB tape and also solder some, LED strips together and make a pretty long wire that's going to attach eventually to the power supply. And that will just allow the LED strips inside of this panel to light up when you turn on the computer, just like the White Walker eyes. And to hide the cable that connects to the power supply that lights all of this up, I just drilled a hole in the side panel and it looks just fine. I just made sure the cable was super long so that if you took off the side panel, you would be able to pull it away from the case a little bit so that you could disconnect it from the power supply and then fully remove it, just so you're not struggling or anything. As you can see here, I'm putting painter's tape over certain parts of this panel. That's just because this part of the panel is what's going to be clear so that the LED lights can shine through it and be bright and everything. I still have to do a little bit more painting to this panel, and that's why I'm covering up this area just so that it stays clear. And eventually you're going to see that there is duct tape on the back of the Game of Thrones panel, and that is just there so that the LED strips directly behind it won't shine through any areas that they're not supposed to. The duct tape is just blocking the light from the LED strips from shining through the paint job.
Just when you think you've given all you could, they want some more. Constantly combating conversations with connoisseurs. Cognac on deck, I'm on the night shift like the Commodore. 64 system outdated, so give this John applause. Them man are dinosaurs, they ain't dictating my future. I love the game, but everybody be rapping like Fuchsia. Medusa mind state, I turn you to stone. When I shoot a verse that will make you disperse. It's true that turned into the truth a long time ago. They don't wanna respect it, don't want to acknowledge the power shift. Ego, they protect it, but I will flow like electric. I'm gonna set this off, no apology. I move metric, them man are still moving imperial. My tech, cause I'm moving hectic. Now everybody wanna talk about the top 4. I'm not no number, but I know I'll be the top drawer. And some brothers just be lying to themselves. So I'm airplane mode out, clutching on the top floor. No competition, competition is none. My composition's no comparison, reversing it wrong. The understated victor stand alone, I stand on my ones. My tech is be the hardest, and my best is still yet to come. It's mine. Overrated artists living off the hype. They got no longevity in the game, they got no stripes. No longer social in person, they live on social media. So social skills are not working because they live for likes. It's all a make-believe world, but they love living in the bubbles. They scrolling and reading all the BS you type. Just for attention, a couple shares or a mention is meaningless, but it's like nobody wanna deal with real life. I spit that real life, say what's on my mind. I will not pander to the climate of the deaf, dumb and blind. Never dumbing down my bars, only realness in the lines. You will only hear the honesty and passion in my rhymes. I'm staying connected cause I perfected my art form. This show I directed, calm and collected, rated, respected, stayed on course and never deflected. Flow like electric, I'm gonna set this off, no apology. I move metric, yeah man, I'm still moving imperial. My tech cause I'm moving hectic.
inside. And I feel nothing, but we're lying side by side. Kiss me like you mean it, even if you don't. I need to feel something, feel something. I need to feel something, feel something. 'Cause I'm all alone. Like powder from a gun, you shot me, I'm the one. But I can't take this anymore, so watch me walk out that door. This bed is filled with bodies, no emotion inside. And I feel nothing, though we're lying side by side. Kiss me like you mean it, even if you don't. I need to feel something, feel something. I need to feel something, feel something. 'Cause I'm all alone. Yeah, I'm all alone. I lied, I tried. Bright lights caught me now. Red signs like holy night, towering, can't stop me now. My flight brought me back down. Landscapes a perfect hell. But if I can, I'll say a little prayer. Heaven, don't shoot me down, 'cause I see it. Heaven, don't shoot me down, 'cause I need it. Heaven, don't shoot me down, 'cause I see it. Heaven, don't shoot me down. Heaven, don't shoot me down.
start raving. I've got a lonely soul you could be saving. We're trying to die, running out of time. I just wanna be with you till the day I die. We're trying to die, running out of time. I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you.
In case you're not familiar with the show that I used to get inspiration for this case mod, it was Game of Thrones, and this fella on the front of the case is one of the bad guys from that show. Anyway, if you want to see more case modding related videos like this one in the future, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, or you can check the description for all of my social media accounts like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, Discord, Patreon, that kind of thing. And if you want to commission a case mod, also check the description for my website. And I will see you in the next one.